Hello everyone, Powerful Swagger here. Today we're going to be doing another Reddit read. We're going to be getting today's stories off of greatest Redditor updates. I don't know where it was originally posted. This one doesn't actually say. Usually it does, but this one does not. So the title for it is, My 27 female, boyfriend 28 male, of 1 year wants to move in together when our leases are up, but he says I can't keep my altar. It doesn't sound like your relationship's going to work. If he's already dictating something like an altar, which is generally, it might just be for aesthetics and there's no religious purpose to it or anything like that, but there probably is a bigger purpose to it. Otherwise, she wouldn't care about having to not have it. So, yeah, it sounds like they're not going to work out. But let's get into this to find out. Original post was November 16th, 2015. Wow, almost a decade ago. I keep an altar. It's about the size of a bedside table with a drawer. There are usually a couple of glass candles on it, some bowls and cups, and imagery of specific saints that I work with. Tommy and I have been dating for a year, and our leases will end around the 1.5 year mark. He says he wants us to move in to a place together. I was really into this idea. It sounds great to me. Then, a few nights ago, Tommy was at my place and he asked what I'd do when we moved in together. He pointed at my idol and said, "Will you get rid of this?" I said, "Of course not. I'll be taking it with me." And then he said that I couldn't bring the altar, that since he's an atheist, he doesn't want stuff like that in his home. If he's an atheist, it doesn't matter. It's just some stuff that she likes to do things with. So you don't believe in any of it, so you shouldn't care. Like, from someone who used to say atheist, I'm now more agnostic than I am atheist, but I still line up with atheism and whatnot. Yeah, no, if you're an atheist, you shouldn't give two flying shits because it's a table with some candles and some imagery on it. It's nothing. So he might want to start looking into his own religious stances on things. I told him that we don't have to have it in the living room, that I can move it elsewhere, but the living room is just where I naturally put it. He said no, he doesn't have any religious stuff in his home. And then he said that it would be disrespecting his beliefs. Oh, but him doing that to you isn't. And when I told him I wouldn't be okay with living without the altar, he made it seem like I was putting religion ahead of him. Like I was choosing religion over him. I mean, so what if you are? Religion is important to a lot of people. Which I'm not, but I don't think I should have to give up one of the only religious things I even do. Is this just a sign of long-term incompatibility? Yes, it is. I've lived with an atheist before and didn't have any issues, so I know it's not something all atheists are like. TLDR, atheist boyfriend says I cannot take my altar when we move in together. What should I do? Break up with him. Someone commented, he keeps calling it his home when it is going to be ours and not his. It's a good point, OP. That's what I asked. Why is he calling it his home? He didn't even answer. Yeah, because he believes in, like, old school. He may be an atheist, but he believes in old school things. Somebody said, you are not respecting his beliefs, but he's not respecting yours. It's a good point. Top comments. Yeah, this is definitely bigger than the altar, especially if you two want to get married and have kids at some point. If you haven't had those discussions, and you need to before you get any further with the moving in plans. But be clear with Tommy that you're not asking him to acknowledge the altar as religious or anything to do with him at all. So if he can't live and let live, he's the one putting his lack of beliefs ahead of you. And this probably isn't going to work out. No, that's top tier. Exactly what she should have done. Somebody else said, this needs to be higher up. Oh, so this was a response to the last comment. This needs to be higher up. Make a list of where, when, and how religion is important / influential in your life, like holidays, future children, Sundays, special diet, anything. Go over this list with him. What is his take on it? What does he want and expect? And find out if the two of you are at all compatible as partners in life. Also, what kind of atheist is he? To him, it should just be candles and pictures since he does not believe that there are gods and saints. Why is it threatening to him? Signed, an atheist. Exactly. If you're an atheist, none of it matters. Shouldn't affect you in any way. Doesn't matter. So here's an update from 8 days later. I received so much feedback on my last post that I had to thank you all. First off, for reading and listening, I want to clarify a number of things before I continue. Dating an atheist as someone who keeps an altar has never been an issue before. I am not seriously religious, and my beliefs have never stood in the way of anything. There are no rules I follow. It doesn't change my social, political alignment, etc. It's a dedicated place for me to pay respects to my ancestors and to the saints I work with. It's no different than you setting up a dedicated room for video games. Very true. I think Reddit should open up to learning about religion beyond direct examples of Christianity and the other big ones. I saw a lot of ignorant comments that clearly don't comprehend why people keep altars, and believe me when I say that there are many of us, and no, we are not all mentally ill. That's just silly. On to the update. I used a lot of conversations from my post to determine how I would talk with him about it, but it turned out he read my post. He read the comments himself, and even better, he was able to come to me with his concerns and communicate to me what he was worried about and how he felt. Oh wow, look at that. They're actually talking. That's nuts. We ended up talking for a long time about the issue, and it boiled down to him being a little afraid and not understanding my practice. He said he's always been a little uncomfortable about it because he's been trained to see this stuff as weird and creepy and things like that. He asked me to explain it more, to give him more time to read up on what I was doing so he could familiarize himself with it. So yeah, he's just somebody who hasn't dove into his own beliefs enough yet, because he's just been trained to see this stuff as weird and creepy. So is he truly an atheist, or is it just something he feels like all his friends are doing, so he's doing it so he fits in? Or is that like truly his belief? Hopefully this goes well. He took a few days, but in the end, when he came back to me to talk about it, he told me that he was no longer worried and that he was sorry that he made it into such a big deal. He even asked if it would be okay for him to light a tea light now and then because he likes the idea of candles as offerings or recognition of the deceased. He bought a stack of books to read up on regarding this stuff. He is reading a little bit each night. He's very apologetic about how things went down and how he seemed, but I understand that his tone and behavior were absolutely due to him not understanding and knowing about this stuff. Things are going great now, and we are still on track to move in together. The conversation about it not just being his house struck him the most. Thank you for the help, Reddit. TLDR. Boyfriend read my original post and took it on himself to educate and understand where I'm coming from. He apologized and everything's going great. Me and my alter will be glad to move in. So yeah, no, that worked out great. He's somebody who's seen that it was an issue, went into acknowledging it and giving himself knowledge on it to be accepting. And yeah, it sounds like hopefully they worked out and they lived together forever. It sounds like it helped him do some exploring for himself and his own spirituality and things like that. So mad props to him and her for both going about it properly. I hope they're doing well now. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. I appreciate you clicking on this video. Hope you have a wonderful day. And remember, try to be kind out there.